The inheritance. The air crackled with anticipation as the attorney handed over the dusty, time-worn key to the family's new possession, a mirror with a history veiled in shadows. The family, the Harrows, gathered around the ornate antique, their eyes reflecting a mixture of awe and curiosity. The attorney cleared his throat before parting with the enigmatic heirloom, hinting at a dark past that clung to the mirror like an unseen shroud. Amelia Harrow, a middle-aged mother with an affinity for the mysterious, traced her fingers along the intricate carvings that adorned the mirror's frame. Her husband, Robert, a pragmatic man with skepticism etched into the lines of his face, observed from a distance. The children, Emily and Ethan, stood wide-eyed, their innocence unaware of the looming presence embedded within the mirror's glass. With a unanimous decision, the Harrows decided to hang the mirror in the grand foyer of their ancestral home, a decision that would set in motion a series of events they could never have anticipated. As the mirror found its place on the wall, a subtle chill permeated the air, unnoticed by the family members, but felt by the very essence of the house. The reflection in the mirror seemed ordinary at first, capturing the Harrows in a moment of familial bliss. However, as the day waned into night, peculiar shadows danced across the reflective surface, distorting the images within. Amelia, passing by, caught a glimpse of a figure that was not her own, a silhouette with hollow eyes that seemed to beckon her into the unknown. Unbeknownst to the Harrows, the mirror had become a portal to a realm they could not comprehend. As they retired for the night, a whisper lingered in the air, barely audible but unmistakably present, foreshadowing the malevolent force that had awakened within the antique looking-glass. Little did the family realize their lives were about to be entwined with an otherworldly entity, and the mirror, with its dark secrets, would become both a conduit and a prison for the spectral energies that lurked within. The stage was set, the rhythm of foreboding beats established, as the Harrows unwittingly stepped into the haunting symphony of their own descent into the supernatural unknown. Hanging the mirror. The next morning dawned with a deceptive serenity, as if the events of the previous day had been mere figments of the imagination. The Harrows descended the grand staircase, greeted by the gleam of sunlight filtering through the foyer. Yet, as their eyes settled on the mirror that now adorned the wall, an unspoken tension hung in the air. Amelia, usually the epitome of composure, found herself stealing glances at the mirror as she moved about her daily routine. The distorted reflections from the previous night lingered in her mind, like elusive fragments of a disconcerting dream. Robert, though initially dismissive of any supernatural notions, couldn't shake an uneasy feeling that gnawed at the edges of his consciousness. It started subtly, an imperceptible change in the atmosphere whenever one of the family members stood before the mirror. A flicker of movement in the reflective surface, a whisper of displaced air that went unnoticed. Emily, the teenage daughter with a penchant for the enigmatic, felt an inexplicable compulsion to linger in front of the mirror, drawn to its antique allure. As night descended, so did the veil between the tangible and the ethereal. The mirror, bathed in the moon's eerie glow, seemed to come alive with secrets whispered from another realm. The family gathered for dinner, unaware that their every move was observed by unseen eyes within the glass. It was during this nocturnal hour that the mirror's true nature began to manifest. Emily, wandering the darkened hallways in search of a midnight snack, caught sight of a reflection that sent shivers down her spine. In the mirror's depths, a spectral figure moved in tandem with her, its movements out of sync with the physical world. Ethan, too young to grasp the gravity of the unfolding events, sensed a playmate in the mirror. His innocent laughter echoed through the halls as he engaged in a surreal game of peekaboo with an unseen entity, visible only in the haunted reflections. The Harrows, unknowingly dancing on the precipice of the supernatural, were about to witness the mirror's true capabilities. As the clock struck midnight, the mirror's surface rippled like a disturbed pond, and the distorted figures within gained a sinister clarity. Eerie whispers filled the room, reverberating with a spectral rhythm that spoke of a history stained with sorrow. In the rhythm of the night, the mirror unveiled its malevolent symphony, each family member becoming a note in a haunting melody that resonated with the echoes of the past. Little did the Harrows know that the mirror, now a gateway to the spectral realm, would orchestrate a macabre dance that entwined their fates with the restless spirits that lingered within its darkened glass. Strange reflections. With each passing day, the Harrows' home became a stage for the supernatural, a theater of eerie occurrences orchestrated by the enigmatic mirror. The morning sunlight, which once bathed the foyer in a warm glow, now seemed to cast shadows that clung to the ornate frame like ethereal fingers. Amelia, the matriarch, found herself spending more time in front of the mirror. Her reflection, once a familiar visage, now held a hint of weariness that transcended the physical toll of everyday life. Unbeknownst to her, the mirror had become a vessel for the memories of those who had gazed into its depths throughout the ages. Robert, the pragmatic patriarch, began noticing peculiar details in the mirror's reflections. A flicker of movement in the background when no one else was present, or the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. The mirror seemed to harbor a sentience that defied explanation, its malevolence growing like a storm on the horizon. Emily, the curious teenager, started documenting the mirror's behavior. Armed with her phone, she captured fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures and anomalous reflections that defied the laws of physics. Her excitement, however, gave way to trepidation as she reviewed the footage, realizing that the mirror had become a portal to a realm beyond human comprehension. Ethan, the youngest member of the family, spoke of a newfound friend, a spectral playmate visible only in the mirror. His laughter echoed through the house, accompanied by the ghostly giggles of an unseen companion. The family, gripped by a mixture of fascination and fear, struggled to understand the nature of this supernatural bond. Night after night, the mirror's surface danced with strange reflections, faces twisted in agony, phantasmal figures reaching out from the depths, and ethereal landscapes that defied the confines of the mirror's physical frame. Each family member bore witness to a personalized manifestation of the mirror's malevolence, their sanity unraveling with each haunting image. As the family gathered in front of the mirror, they realized that the reflections were not mere spectacles but glimpses into a realm where time and space converged. The mirror, now a conduit to the spectral unknown, had become a storyteller of tragedies, etched into the fabric of reality. The rhythm of the supernatural, once a distant melody, now reverberated through the Harrows' home, entwining their destinies with the haunted echoes of the mirror's past. Little did they know that the true horrors were yet to unfold, as the mirror's reflections held the key to unlocking a darkness that hungered for release: night terrors. As the moon ascended in the night sky, the Harrows found themselves ensnared in a web of nocturnal terrors spun by the malevolent mirror. The once peaceful household echoed with the unsettling symphony of footsteps in the dark, whispered lullabies that carried a haunting melody, and the faint rustling of unseen entities that traversed the corridors. Amelia, usually a stalwart presence in the family, found herself tormented by vivid nightmares. In the realm of sleep, the mirror's dark magic transcended, projecting phantasmal images into her mind. She awoke each night with a gasp, beads of sweat clinging to her forehead, haunted by the spectral visions that lingered in the shadows of her dreams. Robert, too proud to admit vulnerability, concealed his own nocturnal tribulations. The mirror's influence seeped into his subconscious, weaving nightmares that blurred the lines between reality and the supernatural. Unseen hands reached out from the mirror, grasping at his sanity as he navigated a nightmarish landscape. Emily, armed with the courage of youth, began to experience sleep paralysis, an otherworldly force pinning her to her bed as the mirror loomed in her peripheral vision. Whispers echoed in the silence, telling tales of forgotten tragedies and unfulfilled destinies. The spectral figures that danced in the mirror's reflection manifested in the shadows of her immobilized state. Ethan, the innocent beacon of the family, started waking with night terrors that left him trembling in the dark. His laughter, once a joyful melody, now transformed into a plaintive cry that echoed through the halls. The mirror's influence, though invisible to the naked eye, wrapped itself around the child's dreams like a suffocating mist. The family convened each morning, their eyes betraying the weariness that the night had wrought upon them. The mirror, now a malevolent maestro conducting the symphony of their fears, had become an inescapable presence in their lives. They exchanged haunted glances, their shared experiences weaving an unspoken tapestry of dread. Attempts to avoid the mirror's influence proved futile, as its dark magic transcended the boundaries of wakefulness. The nights became a battleground of wills, the family members torn between the sanctuary of sleep and the nightmarish visions that awaited them in the realm of dreams. In the rhythm of the night, the mirror played a relentless tune, each night terror serving as a discordant note in a macabre composition. The Harrows, gripped by fear and paranoia, were about to discover that the mirror's true power lay not only in its ability to reflect the supernatural, but in its insidious capacity to invade the deepest recesses of their subconscious minds, the research. The dawn of a new day brought with it a sense of urgency for the beleaguered Harrow family. The nightmares and spectral reflections had woven a tapestry of dread that enveloped their once happy home. Desperation clung to the air as they sought answers to the malevolent mysteries that now bound them to the haunted mirror. Amelia, determined to unveil the secrets lurking within the antique glass, delved into the family archives. Dusty volumes and faded photographs revealed a lineage marked by tragedy. It became evident that the mirror had been a silent witness to a series of misfortunes that spanned generations, leaving behind a trail of broken lives and tormented souls. The local historian, a solemn figure with a knowledge of the occult, was summoned by the Harrows. As the pages of the mirror's history unfolded, he spoke of a cursed lineage, a pact forged in the shadows of the past that condemned those who possessed the mirror to a life entwined with the supernatural. His warnings fell on ears laden with skepticism, yet the weight of evidence and the palpable fear etched on the family's faces compelled them to consider the unthinkable. The mirror, it seemed, was a receptacle for the lingering spirits of those who had suffered beneath its malevolent gaze. The family, united by a common desire to break free from the mirror's grasp, began to experiment with methods to sever the supernatural connection. Cleansing rituals borrowed from ancient texts and whispered folklore were performed in front of the mirror. Candles flickered as incantations were uttered, each word resonating with a desperate plea for deliverance. Yet the mirror remained unyielding, its surface untouched by the cleansing rituals. The spirits trapped within its depths seemed to mock the family's futile attempts, their silent laughter echoing through the halls like a ghostly chorus. Amelia, driven by a mother's love and a newfound determination, sought out psychics and mediums in a quest to communicate with the spirits that haunted the mirror. Seances were conducted in dimly lit rooms, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. The family members, hands clasped in unity, strained to hear the whispers from the other side. The spirits, however, proved elusive, revealing only fragments of their anguished tales. It became apparent that the mirror held not only the reflections of the past, but the trapped souls of those who had succumbed to its cursed legacy. In the rhythm of desperation, the Harrows faced the harsh reality that their attempts to sever the supernatural bond were met with resistance. The mirror, a malevolent sentinel of the past, seemed to revel in their torment, pushing them further into the abyss of the unknown. Little did the family know that the true horrors were yet to unfold, and the mirror's insidious influence would test the limits of their resilience and sanity. Paranormal Investigations, undeterred by the challenges that the haunted mirror presented, the Harrow family decided to seek professional help. Paranormal investigators, armed with an arsenal of equipment and a wealth of experience, arrived at the family's doorstep to confront the malevolent force that lurked within the antique looking glass. The investigators set up an array of cameras, EMF meters, and audio recording devices strategically placed around the mirror. As darkness enveloped the house, the investigators initiated a seance, their voices invoking the spirits that dwelled within the mirror's depths. The air grew heavy with anticipation, and a chill settled in the room as they awaited a response from the other side. Ethereal whispers filled the air, and the investigators, seasoned in their trade, interpreted the fragmented messages that emerged from the supernatural realm. The mirror, it seemed, held a grudge from a bygone era, a tale of betrayal, loss, and an unquenchable thirst for vengeance. The investigators, undeterred by the spectral revelations, delved deeper into their exploration of the mirror's dark history. They uncovered forgotten rituals and incantations that had bound the mirror to the tormented spirits, creating a nexus between the living and the dead. As the night wore on, the investigators conducted experiments to test the mirror's response to different stimuli: temperature fluctuations, electromagnetic anomalies, and unexplained shadows danced on the periphery of their equipment. The mirror, it appeared, possessed a sentience that defied scientific explanation. In a climactic moment, the investigators attempted to communicate directly with the vengeful spirit believed to be the mastermind behind the mirror's malevolence. The room crackled with an otherworldly energy as they posed questions to the unseen entity. The mirror's surface seemed to ripple, as if the spirit, angered by the intrusion, sought to make its presence known. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing candles and leaving the investigators in a disorienting darkness. Whispers turned into anguished wails, and the family, listening anxiously from a distance, could sense a profound disturbance in the spiritual fabric of their home. As the investigators regrouped and reviewed their findings, it became evident that the mirror was a gateway to a realm where the past and present collided. The spirits, trapped within the mirror's confines, sought retribution for sins committed in life. In the rhythm of the paranormal investigation, the Harrows realized that the mirror's malevolence was rooted in a supernatural vendetta. The investigators, grappling with the gravity of their discoveries, warned the family that the only path to liberation lay in confronting the vengeful spirit head-on. Little did the Harrows know that their journey into the supernatural was about to reach a perilous crossroads, and the mirror's true power would be unveiled in a chilling crescendo of ghostly retribution, family discord. Armed with the revelations from the paranormal investigation, the Harrows found themselves at a crossroads. The mirror, a malevolent force that bridged the gap between the living and the dead, had thrust them into a nightmarish realm of spectral vendettas. The family, once bound by love and unity, now stood on the precipice of discord as the mirror's influence wove a web of tension among them. Amelia, fueled by a mother's determination, insisted on confronting the vengeful spirit head-on. She believed that facing the darkness within the mirror was the only way to break free from its insidious grip. Her eyes, however, reflected the weariness of a soul burdened by the weight of the supernatural. Robert, the pragmatic patriarch, urged caution. Skepticism still lingered in the lines of his furrowed brow, and the idea of confronting a malevolent spirit seemed to him like a descent into madness. The mirror, he argued, was a mere object, and the family's turmoil could be resolved through rational means. Emily, the teenager caught between the worlds of reason and mysticism, grappled with conflicting emotions. Her fascination with the supernatural clashed with the desire for a normal life. The mirror, once an object of curiosity, now cast a shadow over her every thought. Ethan, the innocent soul at the heart of the familial storm, continued to perceive the mirror as a source of playfulness. Unaware of the spiritual discord that unfolded around him, he laughed and giggled, blissfully ignorant of the supernatural forces that sought to tear his family apart. As night fell, the family gathered in front of the mirror, their reflections marred by the discord that festered within. Arguments erupted, echoing through the halls like a dissonant melody. Accusations flew, blame was assigned, and the once tight bonds of familial love strained under the weight of the mirror's curse. The vengeful spirit, sensing the familial discord, seized the opportunity to sow further chaos. Shadows danced across the reflective surface, distorting the family members' images into grotesque caricatures of their former selves. The mirror, it seemed, fed off the emotional turmoil that permeated the room. Amidst the heated exchanges, the mirror's influence intensified. Whispers of discontent echoed in the family's ears, urging them to turn on each other. Paranoia crept into their minds like a poison, and trust, once the cornerstone of their relationships, eroded with each passing moment. In the rhythm of familial discord, the mirror reveled in the chaos it had wrought. The family, gripped by internal strife, now faced a choice: succumb to the malevolent forces that sought to tear them apart, or find a way to mend the fractures within their relationships. Little did they know that the true test of their resilience lay ahead, as the mirror's insidious influence pushed them to the brink of desperation. As the rift within the Harrow family deepened, desperation hung in the air like a heavy fog. The once happy home now echoed with the dissonance of fractured relationships, and the mirror's malevolence intensified with each passing day. Desperate times called for desperate measures, and the Harrows, driven to the brink, sought solutions that bordered on the edge of the supernatural. Amelia, haunted by the nightmares and the strain on her family, sought out practitioners of the occult. Hidden in the shadows of dimly lit rooms, she consulted with mystics and seers who claimed to possess ancient knowledge. Desperation etched lines on her face as she clung to the hope of finding a remedy for the supernatural affliction that plagued her home. Robert, though resistant to the idea of the supernatural, found himself questioning the limits of his skepticism. He scoured libraries, delving into obscure texts and ancient tomes that hinted at methods to banish malevolent spirits. The weight of responsibility pressed on his shoulders as he grappled with the realization that rationality alone might not be enough to save his family. Emily, caught between the realm of teenage uncertainty and the spectral unknown, sought solace in modern technology. Armed with her smartphone and a determination to document the supernatural, she delved into online forums and paranormal communities. The digital realm, however, offered little comfort as the mirror's influence defied the confines of both science and reason. Ethan, the unwitting beacon of innocence, continued to play in the shadows cast by the mirror. Unaware of the family's inner turmoil, his laughter echoed through the halls, a stark contrast to the despair that clung to the rest of the household. In their desperation, the Harrows considered extreme measures to rid themselves of the haunted mirror. Some suggested destroying the mirror, shattering its dark reflections and severing the supernatural link. Others proposed abandoning the house altogether, leaving behind the malevolent force that had become an unwelcome tenant in their lives. Yet, every attempt to escape the mirror's influence proved futile. It seemed to defy the laws of the physical world, trapping the family within a nightmarish cycle from which there was no easy escape. Desperation morphed into resignation, and the family faced the harsh reality that their home, once a sanctuary, had become a prison of the supernatural. In the rhythm of desperation, the Harrows grappled with the inescapable truth that the mirror's malevolence was an adversary they couldn't easily overcome. The once unified family now stood fragmented and broken, and the haunting symphony of the mirror's curse played on, indifferent to their struggles. Little did they know that the final chapter of their harrowing journey was about to unfold, and the mirror's true intentions would be revealed in a crescendo of chilling revelations. Confrontation. As the night cast its shadow over the Harrow household, an air of inevitability settled in. The family, battered by the supernatural storm that raged within the haunted mirror, faced a decisive moment of reckoning. The time for desperation had passed, and the only path to salvation lay in a confrontation with the malevolent force that lurked within the antique-looking glass. Amelia, driven by a mother's love and a newfound resolve, stood before the mirror with a steely determination. Her eyes, once haunted by fear, now reflected a fiery determination to protect her family. Clutching a relic imbued with mystical properties, she began to recite an incantation meant to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. Robert, still wrestling with the conflict between reason and the supernatural, watched his wife with a mixture of concern and hope. The weight of responsibility pressed on him, and a reluctant acceptance of the occult's role in their plight began to gnaw at the edges of his skepticism. Emily, armed with her digital recorder and a courage forged in the crucible of fear, positioned herself to capture any otherworldly phenomena that might manifest during the confrontation. Her fingers trembled with a mix of excitement and trepidation as the family prepared to face the unknown. Ethan, the unwitting participant in the supernatural drama, played innocently near the mirror, His laughter, though unaware of the impending confrontation, seemed to create a counterpoint to the tension that filled the room. As Amelia continued the incantation, the mirror's surface began to ripple, as if reacting to the mystical forces at play. Shadows danced across the reflective glass, and an eerie chill permeated the air. Whispers, both ethereal and menacing, echoed in the room, creating an atmospheric crescendo that signaled the arrival of the vengeful spirit. A spectral figure materialized within the mirror, its form twisted by the anguish of a tormented past. The room seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy as the vengeful spirit made its presence known. Eyes devoid of warmth stared out from the glass, conveying a tale of betrayal and an insatiable thirst for retribution. Amelia, undeterred by the supernatural spectacle before her, addressed the spirit with a mix of compassion and strength. She spoke of understanding, of breaking the cycle of pain that bound the spirit to the mirror. The incantation, infused with a mother's plea for mercy, resonated in the air like a haunting melody. The room pulsated with an unseen force as the confrontation reached its zenith. The vengeful spirit, caught between the realms of the living and the dead, wavered in its malevolent intent. The mirror, once a conduit of suffering, now stood as a threshold between salvation and eternal torment. In a climactic moment, the spirit's eyes softened, and a glimmer of recognition flickered in its gaze. The mirror's surface began to calm, the ripples smoothing into a reflective stillness. The haunting symphony that had echoed through the Harrow home fell silent, leaving only the residual echoes of a spectral encounter. As the family gathered, emotions raw and hearts heavy, they realized that the confrontation had not only severed the supernatural link, but had offered a semblance of closure to the tormented spirit. The mirror, now bereft of its malevolent influence, stood as a silent witness to a transformative chapter in the Harrows' lives. In the rhythm of confrontation, the family faced the darkness head-on and emerged changed but resilient. The haunted mirror, now a relic of a turbulent past, cast its reflective gaze upon a family forever marked by the supernatural. Little did they know that the echoes of their harrowing journey would linger, a testament to the indomitable spirit that had guided them through the shadows. Resolution. With the malevolent force within the mirror subdued, the Harrow family stood in the aftermath of their supernatural ordeal. The once haunted home, now freed from the clutches of the vengeful spirit, bore witness to the resilience of the family that had confronted the darkness within. Amelia, Robert, Emily, and Ethan gathered in front of the mirror, their eyes reflecting a mix of exhaustion and relief. The haunted symphony that had once resonated through the halls had now dissipated, leaving behind an eerie quietude that hinted at the profound changes wrought by their ordeal. The family shared a moment of solemn unity, acknowledging the scars left by the supernatural journey they had endured together. The mirror, once a harbinger of despair, now stood as a relic of their shared struggle, a testament to the strength that had emerged from the crucible of the unknown. As the days passed, the atmosphere within the Harrow home began to shift. The once tense air gave way to a newfound tranquility, and the family, though forever changed, started to rebuild the bonds that had been strained by the malevolent mirror. Amelia, having faced the depths of the supernatural, found solace in the embrace of her family. The nightmares that had once haunted her sleep gradually receded, replaced by a sense of closure that came from breaking the cycle of the mirror's curse. Robert, though still grappling with the rational implications of the supernatural, began to accept the unexplainable. His skepticism gave way to a quiet acknowledgement that some mysteries defied logical explanations, and he found solace in the unity that had held his family together. Emily, armed with the digital recordings of the supernatural encounters, shared their story with the world. The haunting symphony, captured in bits and pieces, became a cautionary tale for those who sought to unravel the mysteries of the supernatural. The echoes of their harrowing journey now reached beyond the confines of their home. Ethan, blissfully unaware of the turmoil that had unfolded around him, continued to play and laugh in the now hallowed halls. The innocence of childhood became a source of healing for the family, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light could be found. In the rhythm of resolution, the Harrows embraced the healing power of time and unity. The mirror, once a malevolent force, now became a symbol of triumph over the supernatural. The family, forever bound by the echoes of their shared journey, stepped into a new chapter of their lives, leaving behind the haunting symphony that had tested their resilience. As the curtains closed on the harrowing tale, the Harrows looked towards the future with a mixture of gratitude and reflection. The supernatural storm had subsided, and the echoes of their ordeal lingered as a testament to the indomitable spirit that had guided them through the shadows. Little did they know that the echoes of their journey would ripple through time, a reminder that even in the face of the unknown, the bonds of family could withstand the darkest forces, and this is the end. I hope you like this story, and let's meet in another story. Do not forget to put a like for the video and subscribe to the channel to receive other stories that I'm sure you will like. See you soon.